it shows just in who you are. I think it's innate, the passion you have. Even like when you started Arrow and you were supposed to go for one episode, right?
Yeah.
And they just saw something like you ignited the screen or whatever. What
Yeah.
was it? By the way, for Arrow, was it you auditioned for, of course?
Yes. Yeah.
How many auditions?
Just one, but it was just supposed to be one scene or the two scenes one day. And they don't usually cast Canadians. I think that they were open to casting a Canadian for this part because it was so small.
Why wouldn't they cast Canadians?
It's a Hollywood thing. They have a hard time casting Canadians that aren't, I guess, let's see, Steven's Canadian, but probably American represented,
Stephen
right? We're
Amell.
talking someone who lives in America.
Stephen Amell?
Definitely Stephen Amell,
Yeah.
right? So it's not that Canadians aren't cast. It's just that it's virtually unheard of to go from a one episode Canadian to having a regular on a show. It's just unheard of. It was unheard of at the time, and I'm pretty sure it's still the same.
Was your agent like, this, I know it's just two scenes, but you never know. It could become something. Or it was just like, no, this is just one day of work.
That wasn't even on the table, right? Like, we're talking a Canadian landscape that's like, hey, like, go in and crush it, do your best. And then when they called back, it was like, I don't even think the character was possible recurring. Like, it was like guest star, or not even like, come on in, do a scene.
So you went in there, you did your two scenes. Did you feel like you did above and beyond? Did you feel like everybody was like, oh, I really killed it? Or did you just go home thinking, all right, yeah, well, we'll see.
I think I went in being like, I think I did a good job for casting. I think casting will bring me back. Like, that's what I thought. Like, I was like, it was good, but you kind of black out in there sometimes. Like, you're like, you have no idea. It wasn't self-tape world yet, right? Like, you weren't even able to see what you did back. I've never seen the audition. Like, I would love to see the audition back, especially looking at myself at 20. Like, I would love to see what I threw out there. Like, like how brave and courageous I was at 20 to just kind of throw this character out like spaghetti at a wall, right? Like, acting's a lot of like, hey, this is my take on it,
Yeah. I just wonder, it's like, so you do the scene, and when did someone call your agent and say, hey, we want her back?
I think it was, if I'm right, I think it's 3 episodes later, which is about, you probably get the call about 2 weeks later. So 3 weeks you go to camera, something like that, a decent amount of time. And it was just one more episode, right? Just one more scene. And then it stayed like that for a season. It was like just one more episode, 2 more episodes. And then when season 2 rolled around, they're like, we want to sign her as a regular. And
what season was that?
Season 2.
Jeez, that's the way to do it. Get in early. But like, also you think, okay, I'm Canadian, so they're not going to take me seriously as, wow, I got the role. Okay. And then they keep bringing you back. Mm-hmm. It's just, you had to be blown away by what was happening.
I felt really lucky. I mean, I was young. I was living a dream that I had for so long. I was finally making money. I could pay rent. I could feed my dog.
That bad? You were that bad?
No, I was working at a dog daycare shop, right? Like, my boss was like, you have to quit. You're no longer here. Like, every week you're like, I have to leave for my dream. So you have to quit. And that's kind of where it started.
Do you ever go back and go back to that place and say hi?
She's not there anymore, but I've seen her over the years, and I'm always thanking her because she let me like leave for auditions, like literally close down shop. I'll be like, I have an audition at noon tomorrow. She's like, okay, we'll close it for an hour and then come back.
That is amazing. I mean, you're working at a dog care center?
It was dog daycare, but the one I could close was like the dog apparel food shop. So I'd open up the dog daycare in the morning, it was at 6 a.m. and like 40 dogs would rush in like at the crack of dawn. And then someone else would take over. And then I would go to the dog apparel shop and open that at 10.
You're like the Rocky of women. You're working at this stuff. He's like, hey, all right, like we're going to pet the dogs. We're going to feed the dogs. We're going to take care of the dogs. It's like, hey, I got a call back. I don't know what's going to happen with it. It's like 1 in a million. I think that's really cool. Now, the big question is, were they saying, we're still going to pay you Canadian?
Yeah. It was in hindsight, not a great contract. But as a Canadian, as someone in their 20s, like I wasn't going to say no. It was sort of, I had my dream in my grasp, and I still, still was leaving it. I think as the years went on, things got a little crazy, but, still so grateful for not only Arrow, but like for Felicity. I'm really proud of who Felicity was. And I think she got a little lost in the later seasons. And I wish I could have changed that for her, but I wasn't a writer. So
did they ever, so did you speak your mind on what you thought should happen and what you want, and how did they react?
I did, but I think I'd be better at it now. I think I'd be clearer now. So part of it is me not being as clear as I want to be and feeling rushed. I think, TV's fast and it's rushed and it's an impossible task. I think the showrunners are doing the best thing that they can when you're doing a show that's 23 episodes a season. I'm not even sure if this happens anymore, but the way the machine of Arrow was working, like 23 episodes a season, 10 and a half months of the year, like it's a wild task, and trying to keep up. Like those, we're getting revisions of episodes and things like that. We were doing, I don't know, sometimes like 13 pages a day. Like, it's crazy.
Oh God, I can't even imagine. And then like, I did it. I did, we did 22, 23 episodes a year, but I couldn't imagine. Like, I remember thinking some things like, maybe I should bring this up. And I'm like, no, it's just going to make things more difficult. I just want to get through the days.
Yeah.
You're not writing, Shakespeare here. Let's just freaking act, hit your mark, and hopefully I just thought I'm in good hands. I'm not going to change things much, so I
think my fight did burn out. I think I was like you to a certain point. It was like, okay, let's get the thing done. But then at that point, like I was really sacrificing my happiness of being an actor. Like I was like, I don't really feel like a collaborator anymore. I don't feel like an artist anymore. I don't feel like I'm serving this project, the fans, this character as much as I think allows. And that really dampened my light for a while. And I don't think that's really anybody particular fault per se, but was definitely a lesson that I learned that I think moving forward is probably why it won't happen again.
Yeah. How hard is it to come in to do 2 scenes in the beginning and you're in an established show with all these people around you? You're working at this dog center. Dog center. I keep forgetting the terminology. But you know what I mean? Like to go on, because it's got to be, I always feel bad for guest stars because we all know what we're doing in a way. We know everybody. It's familiarity. And now it's I
have a different thought.
Go ahead.
I think at the time I didn't think about it a whole lot because they were new, right? I came in episode 3 of season 1. But what I also had on board is that I was 20. So like I was young. Like I was like, I'm green, I'm young, I'm naive. Tell me where to be. These are my ideas. Now I come with way more ideas, but I'd always make sure I had a couple. I'm kind of an ideas person. I think that's my value. And I think that I had that on my side. So I was just like a sponge. Like Arrow made me into a machine in terms of how to shoot things. Like it really served me on like how things work, not only on set, but like TV, the writing, the business. I was welcomed into so many doors. Greg Berlanti let me sit in the writer's room, let me listen to things. Like I was just hungry for things. And that taught me a lot. And now, I haven't been on a show in a while, but I look at guest stars and I'm like, you got the best freaking job. Like you get to come in, you get to be the wild card, which probably means in an established show, you actually get to have way more fun, say better things. That's what I think. And like, you get to throw everything out of whack. Like walking down your regular day life, you're not going, I'm going to throw everything out of whack. Like those actors get to go in there and be like, papa, I think that's
shit up.
So fuck shit up. Like, I think that's so fun. So any guest star roles want to come my way, please send them. I love guest stars.